While Team Senku just seems to have awakened quite an unrealistic character, and you know what? I love it. There's nothing I hate more than real life things. Although Dr. Stone still does in many modes of the science, especially as Senku explains on how to create cements and many things more in this one. I'm not so much involved in science, so I don't really know. But we have met a new character, Tsukasa Eshio, the strongest high school primate. We actually heard of him already in last episode, and now we definitely see why he is the strongest one. The Angry Anime Fan, the Despair, here to bring an anime-only review of Doctor Stone episode 1 of the... No, 2 of the episode, the manga, whatever, you know that. Last time Senku and Taiju managed to develop a cure formula, and the Taiju and Senku is prepared to use it on Yusihara, of course, but then Taiju says that they can't use it immediately on Yusihara, simply because she technically doesn't have any clothes on. So so they need to get her back to base and get her some kinds of clothing, and then pour the reviving formula on her. Senku himself feels like this logic is stupid, since this is a stone world and modesty shouldn't really be a thing here, but Taiju is still the gentleman. It's during that time, however, the two boys actually get chased by none other than lions, who Senku believes is to be ants' descendants of lions that perhaps escaped the zoo. Although I can't see that coming, what I'm actually thinking of, but if a lion is stuck in a zoo, then how did he get out? Did the explosion perhaps destroy the bars that held the lions? And how did they survive? Well, I guess they must have hunted all other animals. There is some flaw in a little bit in that logic, but hell, it's 3,700 years. Anything can happen in that time. Regardless, as they try to run away from the lion, neither Senku and Taiju know that they have what it takes to fight off a lion. I mean, Taiju is very strong, but he has never hurt a fly. So then suddenly Taiju says that maybe we should wait to revive Yusihara and revive someone who really can fight. And he points them towards, and he managed to guide them towards Tsukasa Shio, the strongest high school primate, which they pour the formula on, and immediately as he awakens, he asks the thing what is going on. He breaks off out of the construct stone and, with a little bit of an awkward animation, destroys the lion. Yeah, you heard me right. A human teenager, although he technically doesn't really look like that kind of teenager, destroys lions with his bare hands. Now that is awesome. With that, the strongest high school primate has joined the Senku's team, introduces himself after killing the lions, and of course using the lion's hide to create his own set of clothing. With that, he becomes the crew's, primary food hunter, since apparently no wild animal can best him. But during the time when he sees Senku do many different science, including cements and many things more, he begins to explain on a story when hunting for fish that once upon a time there was a young boy who just wanted to give his little sister a couple nickels, but he was pursued by a drunken man who proceeded to beat the boy senselessly and then destroy the shell things for his sister, and therefore his sister, who was ill, couldn't really see that shell after all, because the young boy was too torn up and beaten up by the drunken man to do it. It's here revealed that Tsukasa surprisingly holds a very deep amount of hatred towards adults, or more like the status quo of the modern world. Pay my taxes, feel like this way, and he proceeds to destroy a statue that is a petrified person. And he says to Senku that he, of all people, should understand. He's an analytic person, someone who uses more logic and intelligence to preserve things. For him, he should feel it's logical to free this stone world from every single human, because after all, every single human's being supported, it's impossible. But Senku proclaims in a little badass boast that he may be a smart aleck, but he loves video games, Doraemon, and many things more, so he will save the entire humanity. However, it may just be that Senku has gotten his mortal enemy, Tsukasa Chio, a guy who can kill animals with just a couple of hits. Now that is crazy. That's basically this episode. I had to felt it felt a little slower than last week. I mean, granted, it was some nice set of comedies here and some little strange animation, so it's not exactly high on top of my list here. But I definitely say it's not that bad, but it's not really great here. But I have a feeling the story is just starting, so we will have to have patience and see it. Tsukasa is voiced by Yuichi Nakamura, which I feel is actually surprisingly fitting, but at the same time not fitting. The guy is not exactly young either. Although I'm also a bit disappointed about Tsukasa's Japanese pronouns, but I guess that makes sense as well. So this is basically what Dr. Stone is. We have strange character with a little unrealistic set of strength. But that what brings the most comedy. After all, Senku himself is a teenager, and yet he is shown to be pretty smart as well. Wonder how many books and things he managed to do before he turned 11. So give me your thoughts if you have any.